Caesar, an empire without end. With David Collings as Priscus and Tom Hiddleston as Romulus Augustus, the last emperor.
You won't catch anything there, old man. You'll need to go to the bottom of the hill. Fishing's good down there.
Oh, I've caught my fish today, Romulus.
Come out. Come out from the shadows, let me see you.
You've nothing to fear from me.
If you know who I am, then you know I have everything to fear. Priscus? No, it can't be.
As yet, I believe it is. Will you give me a hand up? Bank's rather steep here.
But...
Hey, take my hand. Truly, I'm not a ghost, Romulus. But I might be if I stand around in the water for much longer.
No. Yes, of course.
Thank you.
Why are you here, Priscus?
Your mother, is she well?
Did you really come alone? No escort, no...
Here I am, with my wallet and pens and ink.
No soldiers waiting?
Carrying a pack that's just about as much as I...
Oh, let me carry it.
Ah, thank you.
She's all right, Mother's all right.
Ah.
She'll be surprised to see you.
But if I remembered anything at all, she won't show it.
Priscus, come in. Sit down. Wine, cool wine at once.
He says he's come alone.
Are we to die, Priscus? Have you brought the hemlock? Are there assassins waiting?
Oh, believe me, I've come to look up an old pupil.
Do I believe you? I don't know.
I want to talk, if I may, to try and complete what will be my last book. Is that so bad?
What's it about?
A history of our times.
If it's a history of me, then it ought to be a joke book.
Oh, no.
Romulus Augustus. Named after the founder of Rome, and named after Augustus, who made an empire of a republic and ruled half the world. No wonder they called me Little Gus.
Here is the wine, at last. I'm afraid the help here is not what we were used to.
In imperial days.
The monks see to your needs.
Such as they are.
And as long as they last. I have no doubt they will find you a room, Priscus.
Oh.
And then we shall talk, if that's what you want.
Not praying with the monks? How are they? Still quarrelling over the nature of Christ? One substance or two, divine, human and divine, human. Sometimes I think nothing changes apart from the names.
I like to come and sit here at night, as the sun goes down.
You have a fine view.
It costs nothing.
Oh, everything costs, you know that. Suffering, pain, pleasure, time.
Is that what you want? My time?
I want to know what happened after you went back to Rome.
Questions.
There are always questions.
Specific questions?
Perhaps there is something. And when it is time, I will ask. Oh.
Going to roost?
Yeah.
All right. But I want to know what happened before I went back to Rome. I was just a child. I want to know how it happened, how I happened. Will you tell me? Listen. Minerva's owl and her wisdom. Are you wise, Priscus? I wasn't.
Well, I'm alive. I very nearly wasn't. Very well. My story for yours?
It's the only thing I've got left to trade.
Oh, never underestimate the worth of a story, or the answer to a question.
Go on. I may not have much time.
Then, listen to how it was in this empire 20 years ago. 1,500 years since Romulus founded Rome, 450 years since Augustus made it an empire, 120 years since Valentinian and Valens split that empire between the East and the West. And while the West was overrun by barbarians, the East grew strong, behind the walls of Byzantium. And in Byzantium, a man called Priscus was summoned to a meeting with his emperor, Leo.
Priscus, thank you for joining us. Please sit down.
Sir?
We have a task for you. It could be dangerous. It is certainly important.
But I'm not a soldier or a diplomat.
You are a writer, I believe.
When my works aren't censored, yes.
We want you to accompany our ambassador Maximinus here into the West and record his mission.
May I know what the mission is?
Maximinus.
Thank you, sir. The West, Priscus, is becoming destabilized. Most of Spain and North Africa is under the control of Vandal and Suebic tribes from Central Europe. Gaul is effectively a Burgundian hegemony where Roman rule no longer runs. Italy alone survives.
Draw a line across the Balkans. Anywhere west of that line is at risk.
Fortunately, we are on the east.
But not invulnerable. Constantinople will certainly stand against any army in the world. The rest of our empire is by no means as secure, particularly against an invading culture that lives off the land. In Spain, across Western Europe, the barbarians are settling, but in the Balkans...
always the Balkans.
We have the most unstable and potentially dangerous threat of all. Attila the Hun and his horsemen. They're in the west, they're looking east.
Will we have to fight?
We prefer not to. The expense... Always the expense.
Better to buy him off.
3 years ago, it was agreed that an annual tribute of £300 of gold should be paid over to Attila. So far this year, nothing has been delivered. There's also the smaller matter of some rebels from his territory. We have them. He wants them.
It's a question of face. Very important for barbarians.
And the question for us?
Negotiation. We need to tie Attila into an unbreakable treaty, so he will not cross the Danube and he will respect Byzantine borders. He gets the gold, extra gold if necessary, and the rebels...
Don't they execute people by sticking them on spikes?
And he signs an agreement of friendship and mutual respect.
Can he write?
He'll have someone who can, and you'll be there to record the events and publish this mutual triumph for all to hear.
And make it impossible for him to go back on the agreement.
Exactly. Will you go?
I'm a historian. How could I miss the chance to see Atilla the Hun? We took gifts, silk, clothing, jewels, all stuff to appeal to the barbarian mind. And we made our way slowly across the Balkans until we were within sight of Attila's camp. His capital was a moving city. Thousands of horses, huts, stockades, earthworks, middens. Nothing that couldn't be packed away or left in a morning.
Reminds me of being on campaign. Tents and cooking fires, the smell of meat, the open air.
Well, my army career was less than glorious, I'm afraid.
You served?
Of course. I was in the old 3rd Gallic after it was reformed. Served in the east.
Against the Persians?
Great culture, but terrible enemies.
They were good troops, well led, Priscus. Pretty much an unbeatable combination.
They used to say that about Rome.
When Roman armies were Roman, not 90% barbarian mercenaries. It's all a question of what a man fights for.
And Seneca always... Is that horses?
Yes. From the west.
Well, I can feel them through the ground. How many, do you think?
All of them, I should say.
Oh, my lord! Look at that!
Yes, look at that, historian. Not many men have and survived. The charge of the Huns, the greatest horsemen in the world.
They do know this is a peaceful embassy, don't they?
They're barbarians. Who knows what they know?
The big man.
Attila, I believe.
He looks
Dangerous.
like there's no possible language you could share with him.
I hope that's not true, at least as far as our interpreters are concerned. Valerius, are you ready to translate?
Yes, sir.
Right. Tell him that I am Maximinus, ambassador of the Emperor Leo...
Ambassador of the Emperor Leo of Byzantium! Yes, the Lord Attila is quite conversant with your credentials, Ambassador!
Oh!
See, Roman, we're not so stupid, huh? You stupid, huh? You follow me! You hear my voice, huh?
I am Orestes, secretary to the Lord Attila.
Attila the Hun as a secretary?
As you see. Priscus, isn't it? I've read your work. I enjoyed your history of the Council of Nicaea, though I don't necessarily agree with all your conclusions.
No. Quite.
It's the modern world, gentlemen. Everybody needs a secretary nowadays. The Lord Attila wishes you a guarded welcome.
Yeah,
And we'll meet with you in due time. Thank you.
A curse on that man, Orestes.
Isn't it a help to have someone who understands on their side? Someone we can understand.
Do you think we can understand anything they say?
In due time. That's what we were told. And as the weeks turned into months and as we followed Attila's moving capital across Europe, we began to wonder if we would ever be received. This is beginning to feel like a calculated insult.
He's in no hurry. He's got all the time in the world.
Gentlemen, may I join you?
Arrested? Where did you come from? No, I mean, how did you get through the guards?
Easy enough. Hannibal could have walked an elephant through your picket lines. May I sit down?
Of course.
Priscus, how's your work going?
Going nowhere to speak of, since that's what we seem to be doing. Is your lord leading us round in circles?
We are prepared to be generous to our friends, as is only right and proper. We have gifts for your lord, gifts for you.
As is only right and proper.
And we would crave the honour of an interview with the mighty Attila.
And my lord is minded to grant you an audience, Maximinus.
Could you put a day to that?
I can see you are not a diplomat, Priscus.
I'm afraid not. I hope I haven't offended. There are so many things I don't know.
I wonder, are there?
Priscus is here as official recorder.
To ensure that when Byzantium offers extra gold, £400 is the maximum amount set, I believe. Or haven't they told you that yet? And offers to release the rebels into our custody, then the agreement signed will be broadcast far and wide. And Attila will find it impossible to break his word in public. Is that about it?
Obviously nothing is set in stone.
I thought you Romans set everything in stone. It's we barbarians for whom the world and the word is grass. You might as well go back to Byzantium. Attila will make contact when he's ready.
Orestes, you are treading on marshy ground here. At least your master is. Byzantium does not appreciate being dictated to. We've come a long way. We have waited patiently for an audience, but as many nations have found, our patience is not limitless.
So, this wasp does have a sting.
When provoked. We ask only to talk face to face with Attila.
What in the name of God?
An execution. Some poor soul who failed Attila. I do not intend to fail him.
Is it true? They sit them on a spike.
Perhaps you'll walk me through the guards, Priscus. I suspect their eyes will be a little sharper now.
Priscus, we need this meeting. Offer what you have to.
I thought you wanted me to keep my mouth shut.
Make this man see sense. Whatever it takes for a face-to-face with Attila. Just get me close enough. Now go.
His Excellency Maximinus Claudius, Ambassador from the court of the Emperor Leo, Protector of Byzantium, Lord of the East, Spear of God, mighty wielder of the sword of the righteous. In the name of Leo Caesar, we greet our trusty friend, Attila, Lord of the horses, Master of the land.
Roman, enough of horse shit. I have already many horse.
I agree, sir. Let us talk together like men.
Действительно. Ну что ж, дадим ему такой шанс. Прикажи ему приблизиться.
Honorable Maximinus, you're welcome. Will you step forward and state your embassy clearly and honestly, as is the custom amongst us?
We come in peace. We come to talk and to make an agreement which will keep the peace.
My gold, my prisoners.
Let me assure the Lord Attila, there is nothing that cannot be agreed between us.
To save your skin, huh?
Where is the tribute agreed 2 years ago?
There is gold and more, but it is not here.
Where? Huh? My gold? Roman promise? Leo, he promised gold?
And he will deliver on his word. He will do better than his word. 400 pounds of gold awaits you, mighty lord.
Ну не здесь, конечно. Ну что, мы продолжаем?
My lord is listening, Ambassador.
I have a message from Caesar. For the ears of Attila alone. Emperor to emperor. Man to man.
You come, you tell.
You may approach, sir.
Thank you.
Huh? You talk Roman. You tell Attila.
Caesar bids me say farewell.
Oh, God! No!
Here. Water.
What happened?
Someone hit you. Hard.
Before that?
Don't you know? I find that difficult to believe.
Nothing. I knew nothing, I swear it.
You hear that? The hammering. They're putting a stake into the ground. When it's firm, they'll sharpen the end to a point.
I swear I knew nothing.
Then they'll take you out and lower you onto the point. Your body weight will cause you to sink, and the stake will drive up through your body.
I beg. Before God, I knew nothing.
You will die, but not for about 2 or 3 days. And every moment of that time will be agonizing, beyond any pain you have ever known.
On my life.
Oh, most definitely on your
I
life.
did not know.
Perhaps.
Attila
Is angry with Byzantium. Very angry indeed.
Maximinus.
Dead. Fortunately for him, quickly. He was cut down as he tried to stab my master.
But why? Why?
You really don't know, do you?
No.
Byzantium had no intention of paying the tribute or delivering the rebels. It was, they thought, beneath their dignity, their gravitas. Far better to get rid of this Attila, this barbarian. So they found an old Roman, a soldier whose family had been killed during Attila's conquests, a man consumed with the idea of revenge, who would sacrifice his own life.
You knew?
There was a spy. You heard his death agony last night.
An assassination?
Exactly.
And you knew everything?
When we realized you were not carrying any gold.
We weren't?
Cart tracks, hoof marks. Not deep enough. We're very good at that kind of primitive stuff, you know. I began to look around, see who was easy, who was shifty, who was expecting a reward, who was expecting not to live beyond the first meeting. It was a bad plan, Priscus. A stupid plan made by stupid men.
But I didn't know. They didn't tell me.
You probably can't hear, but let me assure you, they are sharpening the stake. Attila's people would dearly like to see a Roman writhing on the spike for a few days. But...
Yes, please. But...
life isn't all pleasure.
We are pleased to receive the emissary of...
Do you know what that is?
It is a bag, and I'm
It's
used
an
to...
empty bag. We expected it to be filled with gold. You are used to lies and duplicity, Emperor. That's how you do things in Byzantium. Out in the plains, we do them differently.
Sir, they knew from the start. They knew there was no gold. And, if I may say so, I was used.
Everyone is used, historian. That's how the state runs.
In my state, a man's word is believed. Maximinus came to us. We trusted him.
Obviously you didn't, my friend, or your Attila would be dead by now.
Aren't you ashamed of using this shabby trick, this...
At being caught out, yes. What did you say, Priscus? As an historian.
It was careless, possibly unforgivable, but in the end facts become confused, lost in the mist.
In time, perhaps. Today it will prove expensive. Attila's forces are gathering for a spring campaign.
Byzantium will stand.
Byzantium will starve when Attila controls the country around it.
What does your master want?
a public statement before your assembled court that you, Leo Caesar, willingly make tribute to the Lord Attila. That you acknowledge his line is as noble as yours, more so, since he has not lied and dishonoured himself. That 700 pounds of gold will be paid. That the rebels sheltering your court will be returned. That treaties will be signed ensuring territorial integrity. That you will provide winter fodder for our animals for 5 years.
Agreed. Except for the acknowledgement of the assassination attempt. I can't have that come out in the public forum.
Priscus, how would you put it?
Shall we call it a diplomatic confusion of aims resulting in a misunderstanding between allies?
Very good.
Should I have the historian executed? We don't want this to appear in some book.
My lord, you may trust my discretion, absolutely, totally, honestly.
You're a writer.
I like this historian. Let him live. I'll keep an eye on him.
Very well. Are we agreed on everything?
Just one thing more.
Impossible! Ridiculous, stupid, insolent, unbearable! I would rather die, like Lucretia after the odious Etruscan polluted her pure Roman blood!
Tarquinius Superbus.
What?
The odious Etruscan, Tarquinius Superbus.
I know that! Go away! Barbarian!
It never works like that with us, you know.
What?
Telling us to go away. 10,000 horsemen and Attila at the gate. Go away. It doesn't work. They won't, we won't. And besides, I'm half Roman.
Half the world is half Roman, barbarian.
And you are...
I am Roman. I can trace my family back to the Republic.
Yes?
Yes? What?
Yes, you are pure Roman. From the tip of your very proud head to the tip of your lovely heel.
Leave my heel out of this and go away!
And as a Roman woman of good family, you are, I imagine, not in the habit of disobeying your father, still less the emperor.
I cannot express my contempt, my loathing, my...
I would take it as a great favour if you would turn around and face me whilst we talk.
We are not talking, we are arguing. And why should I? Oh, all right. There.
You are beautiful, Barbaria.
And you are not barbarian. Though you are not exactly ugly.
But still loathsome, contemptible... what were the other ones?
Just go away.
Look, I know it isn't easy, but it is what must happen.
Do you think I don't know that? I am to be married because of something that happened. I don't know what the Emperor tells my father tells me. What did you ask for exactly?
Full-blooded Roman.
That's it? No wit, beauty, conversation, skills, property?
I didn't ask, but I got them all the same, Barbaria. You are an impressive and intelligent and beautiful woman.
To be honest, my father's been looking for a chance to get rid of me for years. Too many opinions. Instead of making him honeyed wine and fig cakes, I make him uncomfortable. I make men uncomfortable. They don't like a woman with... Do you really ride everywhere?
Attila does. Me, not so much. I look after the paperwork.
Not a lot of that, I suppose.
You'd be surprised. But yes, I do ride and I enjoy it. What about you?
I'm a Roman woman. We do not ride.
Would you like to try?
Is that the marriage settlement? The back of a horse?
No, it's just an offer. Something I thought you might enjoy. Oh, and I generally live in a villa, not in a tent. You know, for a moment there, we were just talking like ordinary people.
Is that what we are?
I don't know.
Priscus tells me you are a clever man. He said very clever. That you are 10 steps ahead of the rest of the world. That's what he said.
I like him. I don't know if I agree with him.
He says you saved his life.
Attila gave him his life back.
You persuaded Attila?
Yes.
Is there anyone you can't persuade?
If there is, I hadn't found them yet.
Then do I bow to the inevitable?
The thing about being clever is that you want to do a little more than just get by.
Then, yes. I think I might like to learn how to ride a horse.
And that is how it happened. Your mother and your father. A marriage made in a failed assassination plot. A marriage between half Rome and Rome, which would make, well, what it would make was not settled at that point. The only settled thing was that Orestes and his new wife could not stay in Byzantium. He had witnessed the humiliation of the Emperor Leo. He needed protection, and besides, he still had a job working for Attila. Your mother rather took to the life of a nomad. She became pregnant, but she did learn to ride. She learned to drink, and she began to enjoy things she had never thought about before. Barbarian wrestling.
It's very simple. They grab each other, and the first to throw his opponent to the ground is the winner.
Throwing those men would be like throwing a horse!
There! He's the champion.
I don't think Attila likes it.
Attila? He loves wrestling.
Hey, Orestes! Your wife! She wants to see a man fight! Hey, lady! Attila fights! Attila, тебя вызывает!
Is it?
Yes. Yes. It's coming.
All right. Take my arm. Come on.
The child is coming.
Come on, take my arm. That's it. Come on.
Send me my women and help me to my tent. Hurry. Hurry.
Come on. That's it. Come on.
Oh, God, help me.
Attila, master of men and horses, I claim victory!
Here, Orestes, your son.
My little Roman. You should be called Romulus Augustus, and may those mighty names bring you great fortune.
Every night has a morning, every life has an end. And you arrived on this earth as Attila departed, and his empire began to fall apart. Well, perhaps not quite at the same moment, but close enough to make a good story and a reasonable history.
But we couldn't stay with Attila's people?
Oh, no. 3 of you went west.
Rome.
Just another city. Not as great as Byzantium.
Not as big, but greater. It was where Caesar stood and
Died.
where Augustus made the new world, where Marcus Aurelius ruled.
Well, no one rules now. There's been no emperor in the West for a year, almost.
This bridge. Constantine defeated Maxentius here and gained an empire.
We'll be lucky if we defeat this traffic and gain a bed for the night.
We'll get through, don't you worry.
Oh.
And your relatives are expecting us. We'll be well looked after.
I'm not sure they approve of you.
As long as they provide food and a roof, they can be as grudging as they like. We won't need them for long.
Orestes, you are, I grant you, a silver-tongued man. But this is Rome. You have no influence, no friends. There's nothing here for you. I don't even know why we've come all this way.
We've come to meet a man.
Oh, shh.
Give him to me. Look, Romulus. This is your city. This will be your world. And one day...
What man?
Do you mind if I sit here?
It's a bathhouse.
Sit where you wish, my friend.
Drops of water hollow out a stone.
What's that?
A ring is worn thin by use. Ovid, from the Tristia. I've been trying to see you, General Ricimer. It isn't easy.
Well, now you can see all of me, my friend. Will you throw some more water on the stones?
Oh. You're not an easy man to meet.
You seem to have managed it.
Yes. But then I know something about arranging the schedules of the busy and powerful.
Oh, is that your opinion? That I'm busy and powerful?
My opinion is that you make and unmake emperors. The last 2 Western emperors were put in place by you, kept in place by you, and in the case of the last one, removed when you considered it necessary.
You flatter me.
No, I don't. Believe me. I know powerful men, and I know how to flatter.
More steam, if you please.
We also have things in common.
Do we?
We're both barbarians.
My father was a king.
A barbarian king, which is why you can never claim the throne of Rome. But perhaps you don't want it. Perhaps you prefer to exercise power from behind the throne.
Well, what do you think, Orestes?
You know who I am.
If I'm half the man you think, then I'm hardly likely to be sitting around in a bathhouse stark bollock naked in front of a stranger who might kill me. Were you in the habit of letting anyone walk up to Attila without checking his credentials very carefully?
Of course not. Quite apart from the local rivals, there was always Byzantium and their plots to keep us sharp.
Byzantium, yes. I talked to the Emperor Leo. He dictates to me. There's an abiding concern over there about the situation over here.
Is that why there's been no Caesar in the West for...
15 months now, yes. Byzantium insists any candidate for Caesar be acceptable to them.
And you have to listen?
Well, it's a case of bending with the wind. We need their support. Financially, militarily.
You need their support?
You've had a lot of practice in dealing with a man who could have put you to death like... But remember, Orestes, I'm not Attila. My father was a king, in a court, not on a horse. I have my own way of doing things, and my own way of settling with those who get in my way. You've taken a chance.
I can help you.
How?
You must have thought about it. Otherwise, as you say, I'd never have got through the door.
Indulge me.
You did take a chance.
I know men of this type. I've studied them. They admire boldness. They need one man at least who will be honest with them and yet preserve respect.
And so, what now?
We go back to Byzantium. We negotiate on behalf of Ricimer and Rome. We help to make the next Caesar.
Will they speak to us? They've no love for you, Orestes.
Leo is a sensible man. He knows the way things have to be. Politics and the emotions have nothing to do with each other.
And ambition?
I want to look after my family.
Ambition and families don't always mix.
I don't know. Romulus, come here. Come to your father. Oh, Romulus, your father loves you very much.
He belches like a barbarian.
But he'll live like a Roman.
Deepest night. Even the monks are sleeping.
I remember nothing of those early years. Except travel. Endless travel, it seems to me.
Well, that's how you grew up. Bounced between Rome and Byzantium, at home in neither place. Learning. All the time learning. To be what your father wanted you to be.
Now, press home, boy. Use the point. Remember your shield, it's not just a defense. It's a weapon in its own right.
You're too quick for me, sir.
If I'm too quick, your enemy will be too quick, young fellow. And you'll be dead.
You're a soldier, sir. You spent all your life in the army.
I'm not that old, lad. You make it sound like I served under Julius Caesar. Not that a German would have risen far in those days. Right, now,
We'll go again.
Odo, you're turning the boy into one big bruise.
Hey, better me than some vandal who'll turn him into shredded lettuce. Ow!
Sneak attack. Well done, Romulus. But I'm afraid I have to interrupt your lesson.
Is there a problem?
Possibly. Ricimer wants the pair of us in Italy as soon as possible.
Something that can't be done by letter.
Something we've been working for. Something best kept between us. Romulus, I want you to meet an old friend and your new tutor, Priscus.
Good morning.
Oh, I read one of your books on the war against Carthage. It was terrific.
We'll be in good hands with Priscus. Odo, shall we?
Keep up the sword practice, lad, and work on that shield technique. Goodbye.
Goodbye, Father. All the time it's learn this, learn that, learn the other.
Oh, that's education, I'm afraid. We can't just know these things, we have to work at them.
I just wish I could work at things I enjoyed once in a while.
You don't like sword practice?
I know I'm supposed to, but...
I'll tell you what. We'll make a bargain, you and I, to always try and tell each other the truth.
Then... no, I don't. I hate it. Odo's a good man, but he never thinks of anything but armies and fighting. He wants to be a general. He wants that more than anything. That's why he's friends with my father. Well, apart from them both being...
barbarians?
Yes. They think that... well, I don't know what they think. Sometimes it's like I can almost see it, but then... it all goes away into... bubbles.
I think you're rather an observant young man. And I think that if you had the right tools, you'll be able to see a lot more than you do now. Do you want to learn how to use those tools?
Will it be like sword practice?
No. It'll be like reading a really exciting book you don't want to put down at night and you can't wait to pick up again in the morning. It's history. It's a story of ambition and hope about men and women who plan and plot and fight and lie to gain the greatest thing in the world.
Well, gentlemen, here we are. 3 barbarians in a room in Rome wondering how to save the Empire.
I notice you didn't invite the new emperor.
Oh, the Emperor has full confidence in his advisors.
Which emperor is it today, Ricimer? Sometimes I forget.
I doubt that you ever forget anything that might be of use, Odo. But we do have a problem.
And ironically, our problem is barbarians.
The wrong sort of barbarians in the wrong place. Vandals in North Africa. We can't afford the loss of trade. Even Byzantium must be feeling the draft, yes?
Emperor Leo might admit to a slight chill, and a continuing desire to influence events in the West.
Byzantium thinks of the West as its own backyard. Leo has made it quite clear. Nothing happens in Rome that doesn't have his approval. Ricimer, how many candidates for the throne did you get through before you found one acceptable to Leo?
If Leo wants to control events, let him sweep the Vandals out of Africa.
Easier said than done.
Landing troops on a hostile shore. It's never certain. It's full of risks.
Yeah, of course it's risky. It's also going to be hideously expensive and we simply can't afford it. But we want them gone. So we have to persuade our great cousin to foot the bill.
Exactly. Is there something I'm not getting here?
I think you should request an audience with the Emperor Leo Orestes and win his trust.
Sir, may I approach?
You may.
I'm your servant, sir.
You are Ricimer's servant, not mine. Who is the boy?
My son, Romulus Augustus. I present him for your commendation.
Come here, boy.
Sir.
Yes. Is he promising?
He is a scholar, sir.
Historians. Never trusted them. Are you nosy, boy?
I prefer to read the classics, sir.
Much to be learned from them.
I care very much for the boy.
Very well. I will keep him under my eye. Let him enjoy the imperial libraries. Would you like that, Romulus Augustus?
Very much, sir.
Good. Now, this suggestion of Ricimer's.
Which surely complements your own long-term strategy.
A battle fleet to harry the North African coast. An armada to land enough troops to clear out the Vandals. It's an attractive proposition. It would open up the West for good and all. We could then direct our attention towards the Suebics in Spain, the Visigoths in Gaul. Tell me, why does Ricimer come to me? Why not make his own armada?
You know the answer to that, sir. Without your backing, he's nothing, and he knows it. Then there's the question of supplies, ships, and, above all, finance.
In the end, it always comes down to finance. Have you noticed that, Orestes?
It had come to my attention, sir. Quite simply, the barbarians operate a closed market. Rome is cut out. Trade is virtually non-existent.
I've had my people look at the plans. They estimate that it can't be done for much under 120,000 pounds of gold. That's a lot of gold, Orestes. A lot more than your old master wanted, eh?
Oh, distant days, sir, long gone and forgotten.
Nearly 50 tons of gold.
Isn't it worth it for peace and prosperity in the West?
If we succeed.
We are Rome. We always succeed in the end. There will still be two empires, but they will effectively be under one control, that of Byzantium. My son was studying the reign of Hadrian this morning, Hadrian's journey to Egypt. Well, isn't it time that Caesar journeyed to Egypt once again and stepped on Roman sand? Isn't it time the empire became strong and stable as it was under that great emperor? Isn't it time that Leo's name stood for all ages with Hadrian's?
Very well. So it will be. Your son's life upon the truth of your word.
You, of course, were a guarantee that Orestes, Ricimer and Odo were serious about the Armada. They were. But what the Emperor Leo didn't realise was that, as far as they were concerned, they were betting on the blues and the greens, and that, one way or the other, they couldn't lose. Your father and Odo went back to Rome. You and I spent our days in Byzantium, under the Emperor's eye. And then, one night...
Romulus! Romulus!
What is it?
Get up, Romulus, now!
It's early.
Put on your clothes, quickly!
What is it?
News from Egypt. Hurry.
My books!
Take nothing, there's no time! Your father is well. He is in Rome.
Mother, what's happened?
They were beaten. The sea, the Vandals, there were mistakes, everything went wrong, everything went down. Thousands were drowned, Rome was beaten. The fleet was destroyed. We have to leave. Get out of here now. Mount up! We ride tonight for the coast. There'll be a ship.
What about Priscus? Shouldn't we do...
Priscus is history! Ride!
I'll say that for your mother. She has a sense of irony. Priscus is history. They told me what she had said as they dragged me to the cells. Leo was not pleased, and I didn't expect to live long.
And I was safe in Rome. And I missed you, Priscus. You were my first and best teacher. If you'd been with me, I might not have... But then, what choice did I have in the matter? My father and Ricimer knew exactly what they wanted. Not quite the same thing, but they were happy to use each other and...
And I was happy to be alive each morning. I was never a man of the old school like Maximinus. Death holds all the fear in the world as far as I'm concerned. But go on. It's yours now, the history. These are your times.
How wrong you are. I sat and watched and learnt. That's what my father wanted. He wanted me to know the world of Rome.
Ricimer, this is your son.
I am Romulus, sir.
Ah, good name. Let's hope we can live up to it. Well, such news, eh?
Fire ships. They used fire ships.
300 Allied vessels destroyed, 500 damaged beyond repair. God knows how many prisoners, how many dead and injured. A disaster. An utter disaster.
For the Emperor Leo.
Didn't look too good for Roman arms either. Not from where I stood, and I saw it. Bloody fire ships, bloody Vandals.
Absolutely, Odo, my friend, a huge blow. Someone will need to answer for it.
Well, who else but the Emperor here in Rome? Poor fellow, he'll have to go. Well, the people will demand a scapegoat. Byzantium will expect a public admission of failure.
But wasn't it their fault? The Emperor Leo was in charge. I mean, shouldn't he... I'm sorry, I shouldn't have spoken.
The boy talks good sense. They provided the bulk of the forces, the generals, the admirals.
Exactly because they provided it all, they'll walk away from the whole mess with their gravitas intact. Our price, for being the client state, is to eat humble pie and cry out, "Woe is us, we are to blame," and kick out the Emperor.
You never liked him much anyway.
And Byzantium escapes without a blemish?
They escape without the 50 tons of gold the whole thing cost them. They escape, but they are bankrupt. Emperor Leo has not only sold the family silver, he sunk it to the bottom of the Mediterranean.
As far as being an effective force in the affairs of the West, they're finished. They couldn't finance a cohort, never mind an army.
I'd rather the Vandals were finished.
So would most of us, but given that they aren't...
The West can begin to make its own decisions without bowing to Byzantium. We've become our own men again.
You still can't rule, either of you.
I've no desire to stand in front of the Senate in a laurel crown. But I do want to put my own man on the throne and have him rule as
best befits a true Roman.
And a true Roman knows that only one thing ensures the continuance of the empire. Not the emperor, not the law, and not even you, Ricimer, but the army. It always has and always will be the one great unchanging power. Young Romulus, you would do well to remember that fact. It's always the army.
Yes, sir, but...
But what, Romulus?
Who is going to be emperor?
Nepos.
Who?
A non-entity, a bureaucrat, count of the domestics. Nothing adventurous, nothing to get in the way of Ricimer's policies continuing much as they have for the last few years.
Ricimer said it didn't matter, anyone could do it.
What about the army?
He thinks they'll go along with us. He'll talk to their commanders.
And so long as we have Ricimer, things will stay as they are. But if we don't...
What do you mean, Mother?
What are you saying?
Only what's in your mind, Orestes. Things change. If Ricimer were to die...
Yeah.
But he won't, will he?
What would you do?
I would do nothing. I'm not a Roman.
Odo, I would like to offer you the army.
I'm in the army, Romulus. Orestes, what is the boy talking about?
If he dies in there, if Ricimer dies of fever, Romulus is offering you the supreme command of the army of the West.
How did he catch this fever?
Well, there's always something around in Rome. It's the hot weather. They spring up, these things.
Do you think it will be fatal? This fever?
Yes.
And this emperor of his, Nepos, do you think he will reign long after the end of Ricimer?
No.
And you, Romulus Augustus, do you want this? Do you want to be emperor?
He does.
Is it even worth it anymore, Orestes? How much is left? As much as there was 900 years ago. If Rome were one of Attila's horses, they'd cut its throat.
And yet it is still Rome, and the emperor will be Romulus.
The army will expect proper payment for their support. That's the way it has always been. That's how it will be now.
There's very little money, Odo.
But there is land. And land is money, but it lasts longer.
Every bit of land in this nation is owned.
Then it must be disowned, if Romulus is to be Caesar.
Didn't Emperor Leo say it all comes down to finance? Yes, you will have your land.
And you will have the support of the army. Now, shall we go and say farewell to our friend?
But you didn't... Don't I get to say anything?
You get to say, I, Caesar. Now, come on, boy.
Are you ready?
Mother, this is mad. I don't want this. I want to go home.
This is our home now.
Nobody asked me. They didn't ask. It isn't fair. I can't go out there. I don't want to go out there. Can't you see?
I see only a Roman. Besides, you'll get used to it in time.
It's all wrong. I don't want to.
Do you honor your father?
Yes.
Do you honor me?
Yes.
Then you must follow your destiny. We will be beside you. You'll never be alone. I promise everything will be all right in the end.
This isn't how it should be.
Senators of Rome, gentlemen, knights and honoured jurists, I give you the future. Your new emperor, Romulus Augustus. Come forward, my lord, and salute the Senate and the people of Rome.
Not your lord, your brat, Orestes.
Barbarians in the Senate!
Senators, knights and gentlemen of Rome.
We are.
I swear that...
I said Joe!
That I, Romulus Augustus, will...
Romulus!
That I will support the Senate and the first men as my namesake, as Augustus. I will do my duty as emperor to I mean...
The Praetorian Guard will present arms! 3 cheers for the Emperor Romulus Augustus! Hooray! 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 The Praetorian Guard will listen to the Emperor address the Senate of Rome! Carry on!
Barbarians. I thank you for your attention, senators, and will lay before you my program for the Western Empire and the glorious future that will be ours.
The glorious future that would have been ours.
It lasted...
a year? Hardly that. I didn't want it. I never wanted it.
They didn't like it in Byzantium either. Leo didn't like it. But after the disaster of the Armada, he could do nothing about it, except wait, as we all waited.
Once my father came to the conclusion that he could talk his way out of delivering on his promise to Odo. Land for the soldiers.
Listen, there's nothing we can't work out between us, Odo.
We did that, Orestes. We made our agreements.
Circumstances change. I need the Senate behind me, behind Romulus. If I take this land, they'll withdraw their support.
You need the army. And they want land for farming when they retire.
We can talk about it. We're old friends, old comrades. Give me more time. I'll bring the Senate round, and then I'll deliver everything I promised.
Time's up, Orestes.
And the boy! What about my son?
Too late for that now, my friend. Too late for him.
Please! Odo, I beg you!
Go on, then. But please be quick.
Come on, lad. Stand up. Look at me like a Roman.
Yes. I was never much good as emperor, but I am a Roman. And a Roman always faces his enemy.
Good boy. Glad to see some of my lessons took.
Only it's not wooden swords anymore.
I don't want to hurt you, Romulus. You or your mother.
What do you mean?
Orestes is dead.
What?
It's over. You can go, both of you, into exile.
But they always
kill the Caesar they throw down. Yes, but then they were Romans. I am not. I am a barbarian, and I am letting you live. For now.
Will you become Caesar?
I told your father, it's over. We're sending the imperial crown, the throne, all of that stuff back to Byzantium. Let them have it. Here, it's all going to be different. A new world. The old world is over. Your mother is waiting. Go now.
He let me go. He wasn't interested in becoming Caesar. But you knew that.
Yes.
And I survived. Till now.
They need to know. Ricimer. Did Orestes have him killed? Was it your mother?
No, it was an accident. A fever, nothing more. He caught a cold and the Roman Empire died. Caesar and Augustus, Nero, Hadrian and Septimus Severus, all of them. Constantine, Ricimer, my father, it's all...
history. Look! Dawn! We've talked through the night.
Is he going to let us live? Does he trust us not to make trouble for him?
I'll tell him he has nothing to fear from you.
500 years ago, Virgil wrote these lines in the Aeneid. For the achievements of these people, I fix neither boundaries of space nor time. I have given them an empire without end. Caesar, we who are about to become as shadows salute thee.
It's going to be a fine day. Why don't we get some breakfast? You can show me around your new domain. Oh, not as young as I used to be. Sitting up all night plays Pluto with my old bones.
Oh, just take my arm. This is a bit stiff. Careful. Careful now.
Empire without end. David Collings was Priscus, and Tom Hiddleston, Romulus Augustus. Orestes was played by Mark Straker, Barbaria by Adjoa Andoh, Leo, George Baker, Maximinus, Sam Dale, Attila, Victor Sobchak, Odo, Joseph Kloska, Ricimer, Christian Rodska. Other parts were played by Saikat Ahamed and Paul Richard Biggin.